Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Investment Officer Tyler Vernon. He's here to help you capitalize on it with a little bit of ivy growing up the walls. And we'll get to that in just a minute. But first off, so we get the Greek news that there may be something to do. I know. Are you bored? Are you moving on? Are you moving on?
I guess you can't, unfortunately.
So what do you mean? Are you not looking at it anymore?
Well, no, we're certainly looking at Greece because the world is looking at that. But I think there's more important things to look at. Investor sentiment, investor optimism. I mean, 6 months ago, all the news about earnings falling short in Greece and everything that's going on in the Middle East, that would have sent this market down 300-400 points. But investors and traders are sticking with it. They're focusing on the underlying improvements of the U.S. economy. And there's some real positive things out there. PEs are expanding, and I think that's what we have to be looking at.
Contrarians might say, now I'm nervous. When the herd is moving positively, that's when you want to move negatively, but you don't think so right now.
Well, I think we have, I mean, just the way the market is reacting. What we're seeing is when we have these pullbacks, there's large pools of capital that are stepping in, that are taking advantage of these buying opportunities. We just broke above this 1350 key level. This is last year, a level that we couldn't really get through. So I think, you know, we got through that. If we can hold this, this is good news.
You have been one to say in the past, be a strategizer. What is this Ivy League strategy you're talking about?
Well, again, when you look at Yale and you look at Harvard and you look at Princeton, the way that they've invested their money has been quite different than your retail investor. The retail investors had stock and bonds, and that's it for the last 10 years. And most of them have made no money.
Oh,
zip.
Flat, nothing.
And they've lost a lot of sleep with two markets that have gone down by 50%. So the endowments, they do things differently. While they do have some stock investments, a lot of their strategies are invested in long short. So managers that not only can buy into markets, but can short them.
And look at these returns, by the way. Yale, which is run by a guy named David Swenson, whom we have had on this show. He's really super smart and been very successful. Up 10%. Oh, these are 10-year returns, by the way. Harvard, 9%. Chapel Hill, 8%. University of Texas, 7%. Stanford picking up not even a bad rear there, up 7%.
Yeah. Well, again, at Biltmore Capital, we don't think that people can just, you know, right, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So here investors 10 years later, they're expecting that things are going to take off.
But, so, you know, we can put up a list quickly. Sure. Because you talk about master limited partnerships, REIT opportunities, and you say long-short funds, and we can cycle through some of these.
Sure. Well, again, everybody thinks, and you know, the financial planners and asset management, everybody just says stock for the long term. And when you look at some of these other strategies, managed futures, for example, some of these are just now allowed to be in mutual funds over the last couple of years. So these are guys that are dealing with currencies, both long and short, interest rates, commodities, metals. And we're seeing, you know, those of you who are at home, you see the price of food going to the moon. Well, these guys are making those bets on wheat and meat, et cetera.
Okay, so let me just mention Wasatch Long Short, Equinox, Managed Futures, Altegris, Global Macro Fund. You've got Cohen and Steers Realty. That's a REIT fund, Power Shares Commodity Index. We're going to put these up on Facebook in just a minute. And coming up, you are naming some plain stocks that are not plain, in your opinion, that you believe will make people money. Stay tuned. Tyler coming up in just a moment. His big stock names. Let's whip right through them, Tyler. Go.
Sure. Level 3, this is a great company. It's been really specializing in putting a lot of infrastructure in the ground as far as getting data from one place to another. Saw CEO Cisco on the other day, or a little earlier, and it's expected that this kind of traffic will expand at 35% over the next 3 years. This is the company that's going to bring that data through and capitalize on that.
Okay, so they're working with Cisco, but you've got another pick, which is Polycom, that is actually considered in certain ways to be a competitor to Cisco, yet you love this name. Why?
Yeah, Polycom is just a phenomenal company. They're visionary. Think about the CEO who's standing in front of his office. He's got you know, flat screen TV. He's got 10 different offices throughout the world, and they're having real-time voice and video conferencing. That's what this company does. They do it very, very well, and they deliver that type of technology. Over 50% of earnings on the S&P are coming from abroad, and there's more and more need to bring together this type of collaboration, get together the voice, get together the video, and they're growing leaps and bounds, 60% a year overseas, 20% year over year here. Great management, no debt, $600 million on the balance sheets. Watch this one; it's gonna move.
We know Andrew Miller well. We have covered that since we began a network in 2007 here at Fox Business. Tyler, great to see you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Liz.
Tyler Vernon is Biltmore Capital Advisors Chief Investment Officer, holding on to gains of 8.